Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see here. That works. Hmm, or does it? Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I'm doing one of my last minute touches. Okay. All right, that looks like fun. Or does it? I'll let you judge. Okay. All right. All right. That looks good. Let me bring up some slides and then we can get started. Of course, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour or so. Um, and okay, slides are coming. Let me see who was here first. Kathy G, thank you so much for being here first. Hello, Mary H, Sonia Johnson, Lydia Washington. Um, you won't believe I just swiped myself out of here. Uh, I got to do the slides again. Let me see. I just accidentally swiped myself out of here before the slides came up. Okay, let me try that one more time. Okay, that should be better. Well, I got to watch my hands here. I just swiped myself out of here. Okay, last thing I need to do is just open up a screen so I can see what you all are seeing. And we're good to go. All right. Felton LaShawn, thank you for being here. I promise you guys I'm not stalling. I'm doing some stuff here, but I'm done. There is the slides. Okay, very cool. And yes, I am recycling, repurposing that thumbnail. That would have taken me about another 20 minutes. So I said, nope, I'll just recycle tonight. Oh, thank you for believing me, Sonia Johnson. Jacqueline Rippey, thank you for being here. YND Lane, thank you for being here. Hey, Legs, thanks for being here. All right. So let's get on with it. No, Meghan Sussex. I have to be very careful about that. But it says Meghan Markle. No, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are not moving back to the UK. A recent meeting between King Charles, Communication Secretary, and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's team members sparked speculation. Need to know. Amid a recent meeting between Prince Harry's aides and King Charles' team, there's been speculation if Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, are looking to move back to the UK. However, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex currently don't have plans to leave California, where they've been since 2020. Guys, you know, this is a terrible distraction. It is so obviously a distraction. Uh, Meghan and Harry have both shared their happiness about raising their two children in Montecito. And after all, if it's one thing that we have learned, is that in Montecito, there are no leaks. There are just no leaks in Montecito. So why the devil would anybody want to move back to the UK, where they would be constantly hounded by the press, by the paparazzi? The whole point of leaving was to get off of the front pages and allow William and Kate to have all of the attention they could possibly want. It's not the Sussexes' fault that the tabloid media decided to follow them over to the United States. And also, the one thing that has become a real pet peeve to me, the one thing that bothers me every single day, anytime I see one of those disingenuous royal reporters, the fact that they never address the leaking and the briefing, the constant leaking and briefing and plotting and scheming from the houses of Windsor. They make it seem like, oh, well, I was on board, and yes, I was also happy for the wedding, and I initially liked Meghan, but I think when she realized that there was too much work, she just wasn't interested. That's one. I think when she found out that Harry wasn't going to be king, she wasn't interested. I think when she found out that, let me see, what's another one? That not everything was glamorous, she just wasn't interested. I mean, they have you know a few of those that are their go-to explanations. None of it ever addresses the constant leaking and briefing and plotting and scheming. Um, Harry and Meghan certainly are not going to talk about those things most days, even the people that represent them. But we know the truth. We know exactly how this is played out, how they have twisted everything to make it seem like the Sussexes are just so, what is it, that childish and indecisive, and they just, yeah. Since when does a person not realize that they're being abused, that they're being used as a scapegoat? That tabloid media, there's not a way that they would ever give any type of consideration to the Sussexes over the principals. It is just as plain as that thing over Aaron Neville's eyebrow. There is never going to be a day where the Sussexes would get a fair treatment. And they sit on television, on these podcasts, wherever they are, and they say with a very straight face that the Sussexes just didn't want to do the work. They wanted to be the center of attention. They didn't want to follow the rules. Whatever it is, they say it with a straight face. There's no pushback when they say it. It's like the big amen section. So there's no winning that. There's nothing to do but leave. Why would anybody ever want to go back to that? For more of the same. The media is in the royal family's hip pocket. They're in William's pocket. They're in Charles' pocket. And there is just no fairness there. As Meghan said, I didn't think it was going to be easy, but I at least thought it would be fair. Well, it's not fair. It is not fair. Anyone who has grown up with a sense of fair play could not survive that institution because there is no fairness. There's open and abuse. That's the only way to put it. It's just very out in the open. You are abused and you are obliged to accept it. There's nothing that there's no one that's going to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself. No one is going to come to your aid. No one is going to take your side so long as you're not sitting on that throne or next to sit on the throne. There's nothing for you. They don't even look out for their kids. Charles didn't even protect his children. I don't think the Queen really protected her children except for, paying out $12 million or 12 million pounds for something that Andrew didn't do to someone he never met and didn't know. Aside from that, but isn't it something? The other thing Meghan said, they will lie to protect other members of the family, and they will not tell the truth to protect me and my husband. Yep, that is something that just rings in my head all the time, especially when I see the big lies that they tell. It's amazing how at the start of the day, the meeting would not have happened without William's consent. And William was blindsided by the meeting. That's how the day started. And by the end of the day, there's no way that meeting would have taken place without William's consent. No way that would have happened. When the truth is, nobody really knows outside of William and Kate. Nobody really knows. We don't know which one of those briefs came from which house of Windsor, right? We don't know which house briefed, but one of them did because of the WhatsApp. We know that, what is it, Tobin, is that his name? Because of his WhatsApp, we know that they receive instructions. That is the real story today, the one that they don't talk about, how the palace has been browbeating them or threatening them with instructions of how the story is to be told. If not, there will be consequences. Ain't that what they told Harry? Withdraw your complaint or there'll be consequences. I think they mean it. I think they mean it. That is the real story today. That's the story that is not being told. They're not even talking about it. They're not entertaining it at all. Let's see. Lex says since they have no access, they have their go-to tactics: insult, belittle, with a made-up story to deflect, correct a few days later, two stories for a lie. Thank you so much, Lex. And I see you have another one here. Yes. It says the Buckingham Palace Communications reached out to Harry and Meghan to give a story to the Daily Mail to deflect from Kensington Palace's leak of Harry and Meghan being part of Charles III's funeral, pulling Harry and Meghan into their mess. No lies detected. That's pretty much what happened. That is pretty much what happened. Tell another lie to cover for the first lie, and then of course a leak. Someone leaked that information. And who knows, maybe whoever leaked it, it was a slow news day, and maybe they just, I don't know, maybe they need to put a new floor in their kitchen or something like that. It's a dirty business. It really is a dirty business. And oh gosh, I don't even want to say his name, but that one particular writer, author, whatever his name is, there he was, just as plain as day. Well, who would benefit from leaking the story? I say it was Montecito. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan out there minding their business. And of course, that is another opportunity to try to big up William. Every time something happens, there is a leak from Kensington Palace to make William seem bigger, to seem more important, to make him central to things that have nothing to do with him. Like that meeting, it has nothing to do with him, but to make sure that he was somehow central to the story, or at least they attempted to make him central to the story. They start off the day by saying that he's blindsided, and then they would end the day by saying that that there's no way it would have happened without his consent. Oh man, I tell you, it is. There are so many plots and subplots, so many of them. Now they are complaining about that leak overshadowing William and Kate at the Wimbledon. Buckingham Palace created the leak to the Daily Mail, and yet Kensington Palace leaked to the Telegraph. They are trying to make sure that Harry and Meghan are in their mess. And yes, that is evil. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace, they are at war with each other. They are fighting. There's a huge scrap going on between the two houses of Windsor over there, and they keep trying to pull Harry and Meghan in the middle of it. I really do believe that the Sussexes are not interested in that stuff. Okay. The only thing that makes sense to me about this meeting at whatever club that was is that they do need to iron out some things for the Invictus game, which is what I said that day, that it's really to Charles' benefit to have some kind of an understanding, because I don't think that Charles can neglect the military, the veterans. I don't think he can do that if it's in Birmingham. It's one thing to skip out on an anniversary and throw some last minute garden party, but it's a whole nother animal if you have the Invictus games in Birmingham. They got to iron out something. They have to plan for that. That is the only thing that I can think of that makes sense. But this idea that the Sussexes are coming back, that's made up. That is made up. I can believe the thing about the funeral plans. That makes sense. But the Sussexes coming back, that is totally made up. But who benefits from that? Who benefits from that lie? I say William, because it gives William a chance, or his people a chance, to say that William will not allow it. If I hear one more time what William will and won't tolerate where the Sussexes are concerned. Oh, you have it right there. Notice how the Royal Rota tried to leak that Harry and Meghan leaked the reconciliation BS, while the Royal Rota knows full well that Buckingham Palace comm worked for the Daily Mail. Then when Harry and Meghan's comm display their frustration, they say it was William. Legs. I am losing my mind with this. I'm not sure which way to look. Which way am I supposed to look? Right? Where's my camera? They always say, let the camera find you. I don't know where my camera is. I don't even remember what my good side is. I feel like I'm filming a soap opera and I don't know what the plot is. It's like I'm on the set of All My Children and I'm all done up and everything to film whatever scene. I don't even know what the plot is. I mean, these people Oh man, I don't know which way to look. I feel like I'm spinning in a circle. Baron, I think the media will try to force Meghan to go to the coronation for William, and they will get a kick out of Harry kneeling. Oh well, he will go out uh, of duty to leave immediately. Yeah, after it's over with, of course, he would leave immediately. I don't know if Meghan would even go. I don't think so. I certainly don't think that Meghan would go to William's coronation. They would love to have Meghan doing a curtsy to those two misfits, and I just don't. Um, I don't see that happening. That would, I mean, that would totally feed right into their narrative because they need to um, big up the Wellses. They need to try to make them bigger. They just don't look like king and queen material. They just do not. Um, the thing that I think that's really going to backfire, whatever Kate's illness was, they should have just kept it to themselves. They should have just kept it to themselves. Instead of making this big production to win sympathy, they should have taken the same approach that Philip and Queen Elizabeth have used for years, and that is don't explain anything. Be very vague and just keep it to yourself. Kate could have gone in and out of the hospital unnoticed if they chose to do that, but they wanted to try to build up sympathy. I never knew why it was so important to report Kate's surgery the same day that Charles reported his surgery, especially when you consider, again, to say that two senior members of the royal family are having non emergency surgery, non cancerous surgery on the same day within an hour or two, that never made sense to me. That never made sense to me. So, right there, something has gone terribly wrong. And obviously, the two houses of Windsor are not communicating with each other. It really has gone from bad to worse. And I'm trying to think of since the coronation, right? Or even since the Jubilee, but since the coronation, I'm trying to think of how many times that I've seen Charles with his grandkids. Remember Will and Kate? I don't think they went to the Sandringham last time. They went to church, but they didn't go to the Christmas Day. Oh, wait, no, yeah, well, I'm sorry. They went to the Christmas Day, but I don't think they did the thing over at the house because they said that William didn't want to go because Tom Parker Bowles would be there, and uh, also Camilla's daughter. Now, this is something that would have never happened with Queen Elizabeth. She wouldn't have invited them. I don't think they were supposed to be there, but yet they were. They were invited. And that was the first time that those two had spent Christmas. Tom and his sister. I don't think that the houses of Windsor are getting on with each other. And they're using Harry and Meghan as a distraction. Has something coming because if I was Harry, you think that I am going to kneel and be a part of that petty, vile, vindictive, pegging pulled pork sandwich coronation, good luck. Harry has nothing to gain. Really, he doesn't. And also, didn't they say they do not want him to be a part of it? That William may not even invite him? I think there's going to be a lot of pressure. It's going to be just like before. Tell us, are you coming to the coronation? Remember, they had a whole front page. Let us know if you're coming to the coronation. And it was, will Harry come or will he won't? Or if he won't. Will Meghan go or won't she? That went on for I don't know how long. It was embarrassing. I just don't get how you have a queen on the throne for 70 years and you make the coronation about Harry and Meghan. You have the queen's funeral. Well, actually, not the coronation, the funeral. The queen on the throne for 70 years, and they're still talking about Harry and Meghan. The family goes up to Balmoral. They don't want anyone else to step out of that plane but Harry and Meghan. They got all quiet when they saw William and Ford Fiesta and what's that weirdo's name? Edward. They were so disappointed when they saw them stepping out that plane. They didn't even ask about Kate. They didn't care. All they know is that Harry and Meghan wasn't there. They dominated the funeral. Then the coronation. They dominate Charles' coronation. And of course, whether they show up or not, that is going to be all they talk about with Charles' funeral and William's coronation. There's just no escaping it. Wow, Reba Henderson. I see you have chosen war today. Bow to your damn self. uh, that's what it seems like to me. Like they don't do anything with Charles and Camilla. Only when absolutely necessary. We like okay, the Wimbledon, not Wimbledon, the Royal Ascot. The air temperature. I mean, it was so cold in that carriage. It seemed like there was frost all over the carriage. It seemed like there was a fog coming out of their mouth. The chill was in the air. The only person talking was whoever that fourth person was. But William was trying to look away from his father. Charles was looking away from William, and Camilla, God knows where her eyes were going. But I couldn't, I watched the video. I could not see where there was any exchange whatsoever. There was absolutely no exchange with any of those three in the carriage. I mean, it's just so obvious. And if there was an opportunity for Charles to have pictures with his grandkids, he would do it because it would be a way to punish the Sussexes by showing everybody how they are keeping the grandkids away from Charles. That would be an excuse to punish them by having those grandkids with Charles. But I don't believe William, Kate, it doesn't matter what she thinks, but I don't think William wants that to happen. I mean, George should be bonding with his grandfather. George should be doing things with his grandfather. He should be going out on these calls with his grandfather somewhere, and that's not happening. He rarely goes any place to his father unless it's sport. So you cannot tell me that there's not some kind of conflict with those two houses. And they're pulling Harry and Meghan into the middle of it. Or at least they're trying. Yeah, well, yeah, always unstable. So you said, I've been following the British royal family since the Queen's passing after seeing the shock and bullying smear campaign against Meghan. Oh, that's interesting. So before you just kind of casually observe things, but that's fascinating. Well, I think you missed a lot. You missed a lot, but there is a way to catch up. There is a great way to catch up, and that is it Duchess Royal? Is that her channel? That is the best way to get caught up to things, because all of the stuff is in chronological order. So if you have not been on her channel, I think it's a great way to see how things evolved. She's very thorough, and she has an amazing sense of humor. Um, Let me see if I can find it. Did she change her profile picture? No. Uh, Let me see. Oh, there we go. Is it the People's Duchess? Uh, what is her name? Um, you know which one I'm thinking of. The Duchess Royal? Duchess Royal? How come I can't think of that? Let me see. Okay. Oh yeah, it is Duchess Royal. Okay. I'm going to put the link up there at the top. And for anyone else who is, if you're trying to get caught up, you don't want to go through my videos. You'll be all over the place. Uh, I'm good for like a daily, weekly thing, but I think this is a better fit for anyone who needs to get caught up. Okay, so I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Oh, there you go. You got it. All right. Thank you, Lydia Washington. There it is. Okay, did I do that right? Okay, I think so. But yeah, so anybody who needs to get caught up, I mean, if these things are a bit confusing, um, I promise you that is a great place to start. I usually watch all of her videos twice. That's how well they're put together. And of course, we have been doing without for a while. I think it's been about 2 months since we had our last video from her, but I'm not one to complain. I'm going to wait patiently, and when it happens, it happens. Okay. Always worth it, though. Okay. Let me see here. Now, after all the bullying and continued bullying, they are saying that Harry and Meghan need to move on and work with them. And bye, Felicia. Got it. Got it. Oh man, it's kind of funny though. But if you all can hear the tone of exhaustion, of frustration in our voices, it's just that this whole thing with the idea of reconciliation, and then they completely turn it around, and I mean, it's just like it's so obvious that Buckingham Palace were the ones that asked for it. They got the Daily Mail guy. I don't think he leaked though. I really don't think he was the one to leak. At first, I was thinking Buckingham Palace did that, right? But I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. But I think it's more important to them to try to figure out a strategy for the Invictus games. Well, okay, I don't think he leaked, but I'm pretty sure someone in that household leaked. And is probably the main saboteur, and that's this one right here. Hello, is this the Daily Mail? Senior Royal here. How could you tell I'm a former smoker? Huh? Senior Royal? Never mind if I've smoked unfiltered cigarettes. That's none of your damn business. Anyway, that is my main suspect right there. That is the one that I'm going to call out. I'm going to name and shame that one. If anybody in that household leaked, whether it's a aide or courtier or whatever, or a member of the family, it's got to be that one. She can't hold water. She can hold her liquor, but she can't hold water. Yep. Probably got on the phone immediately. Didn't even let it savor for just a minute. Oh, well. Now, at receptions hosted by the British Embassy and Angolan ministers, the Duke acknowledged the critical need of support from international donors, including the UK, US, and private sector partners. He emphasized the critical role played by local Halo staff, many of whom are clearing the very communities they call home. I don't know how I missed this. I really don't know. But at receptions hosted by the British Embassy, so Harry was invited to the British Embassy in Angola at a reception hosted by the. Now, that's in spite of the fact that the press was banned. The British media was banned from any kind of participation. They were locked out. And yet, at reception hosted by the British Embassy. So I don't know what that entails. I mean, it's not like they don't have any other places there to meet, but for whatever reason, they wanted to do something at the British Embassy. That is very curious. And so, if you consider that, whatever you think the palace is up to, you do have to factor that in there. That they invited Harry, who I don't know who invited him, but they invited Harry to receptions at the British Embassy. That's why I said I don't know how I missed that. I guess I wasn't really thinking. I just skipped right past it. But I can't help but think that means something. I cannot help but think that means something. Now, knowing Charles is actually meant to lure Harry into a false sense of security of some sort. Who knows what? You know how it is, how Charles will invite someone to go to a drug rehab and then later on tell people that you ordered them to go and get treatment, even though They were just spending the afternoon with their father, trying to bond with their father, who knew that would backfire and turn into a case of you were there for treatment. Isn't that what happened? Harry goes to spend time with his father when he visits this drug rehab, only for them to release to the papers that Charles told him, go get some help. You need an intervention. That, of course, did not happen. But the palace led people to believe, with their leaks and briefing, led people to believe that Harry wasn't there to be with his dad. He was there to get help. Isn't that something? His own father. Just like I applaud Charles for taking Harry to Africa. That changed his life. But we all know that Charles took Harry to Africa for Charles, not for Harry. I mean, let's keep it 100. That was for Charles, not for Harry. Charles needed Harry so that he could look like a concerned father, a loving father, the same father who hopped into his car and left the hospital after William got a fractured skull. That father, the same one who dropped Harry and Diana off at the palace, no, at Highgrove or wherever, and then jumped in his open roadster and sped out the gates within an hour so that he can go and be with Camilla. That's the concerned dad right there. He who would walk away from a newborn baby, or he who would walk away from a child with a hairline fractured to the skull. That's the father of the year. So the idea that Charles took Harry to Africa because he was concerned about him, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Charles is a cold piece of work, and calculating too. In all likelihood, he was doing whatever Mark Boland told him to do. Hey, Hazel Jones, I didn't know you were here. Oh, man. It's almost like I can tell who has their Rosé. I can almost tell who's sipping on Rosé right now because you all just don't give a darn. Oh, man. Okay. So, just to take the temperature down for a minute, check out some of the other media's outlets that spoke about Harry's trip to Angola. There is, what is that, Ola TV? And there is Me Dario Panama, right? And let's see what else is there. That is AFP, whatever that is, AFP News Agency. And this one here, the New Vision, whatever that is. And what else do we have here? Capital FM Uganda. Okay. And then, of course, I believe that one, yeah, that is Canada, isn't it? CTV News Northern Ontario. So, yeah. I tell you, Harry really dominated the media. I could see why they're so frustrated. The only thing that they have been able to try and come for Harry is this idea that, oh, he's just using his mom to get attention, and can't he do anything on his own? And, you know, if they were still over there, or if, let's just say, if there was ever some kind of miraculous thing that happened, and they were back there, they wouldn't have said anything about this. It just would have been whatever it was. But because the Sussexes are 5,000 miles away from those left behind royals, because they are constantly frustrated with the fact that they have really absolutely no notice before the Sussexes make a move. None. I mean, think about it. Harry goes to Angola. He happens to be there during Queen Godzilla's birthday. They have some type of reception at the British Embassy. The British Embassy must have put that together last minute. They must have put that together last minute. And maybe that has nothing to do with the British government. Maybe that was just the ambassador flexing or something. Maybe it had nothing, because think about it. If they knew that Harry was going to a reception there, then they probably would have already told Buckingham Palace. There may have been press there waiting for him. But it seems like, just like with what is it? Just like with Colombia, just like with Nigeria, they didn't learn about it until they wanted them to know about it. And by the time they found out, then they get the word that they're excluded from anything anyway. But all of that planning, over a year of planning, went into both of those trips, and they did not get wind of it until they wanted them to know it. So that means you have so many government officials in 3 different countries, I'm counting right now, or 4 if you want to count Harry's trip to China. They didn't know about that one, did they? And I'm sure there's a few that I'm missing somewhere. But my point is, these governments are acting independent of anything to do with the UK. And they're accommodating the Sussexes, even Germany, sending a government plane to pick up the Sussexes from the UK and to take them back to the UK, giving them a high-profile VIP government official motorcade. And did you see the size of those security people they had at Invictus Dusseldorf? That one guy had a head so big, I mean, it was like looking at the front of a bus. The guy had such a big head. I mean, everything about him was huge. He was a one-man army. And they hate that. They hate that they cannot control that. They hate that these governments are acting independent and treating the Sussexes as the global influencers that they are. The international humanitarians, giving them the royal treatment. There really is no other way to do it. They are members of the family. So they just ignore Buckingham Palace. Even New York, after that incident, New York rose to the occasion. When Harry and Meghan visit New York, they are practically given the same type of security that they give to a lot of VIPs that show up in New York. Not celebrities, but VIPs. So what does the tabloids do? How many cars do they need? How are you helping the environment? We count 7 vehicles. You damn right you do. And that's because 8 would have looked strange. So, yeah, you counted 7 vehicles. What of it? I love how New York rose to the occasion. Whatever happened, it wasn't going to happen again. End of. I love that for them. Okay, on to the Rosé. Oh, that's right, Lex. Thank you. Ukraine, China, Angola, no leaks. Nigeria, Colombia, no leaks with security and no UK press. Yet, for some reason, the British media act like Harry is being hyperbolic, that it is dangerous in the UK without security. The big difference is there are elements of the of some people that cannot be trusted. And I'm not necessarily talking about the family, but there are just certain elements that cannot be trusted. It's just like here in the United States, we have some rogue elements in certain places in government that just cannot be trusted, especially now when everything is so particularly tribal. Um, is I would believe that if you surround them with the same kind of security that you give to any head of state, any head of state, then I would be okay with that. But if you just want to surround them with, someone with a taser, that doesn't work for me. That's a deal breaker. The only way that Harry has been able to manage otherwise is to be as stealth as possible, to have people guessing where is he spending the night, only to find out that he's at this hotel or that hotel, and they don't find out until he's ready to leave. Right? They find out when he wants them to find out. Other than that, they have no clue. I mean, there's a lot of hotels that are extremely discreet, that are very accustomed to having certain VIPs, and most people know to keep their mouth shut. Just like in California, look at how many times the Sussexes move about, and you don't know it until much later on. It almost seems like, wow, they really walked into it because that's California. All those paparazzi and so on and so forth. I am so impressed with the way people have helped them maintain not only their privacy, but their security. Because there's a lot of people out there in LA, in Hollywood, in the various counties and stuff, that they are very accustomed to having people, that need discretion. And not everybody is a rat. If you think about how many times they moved about, and there's no surprise images from inside of these establishments and stuff, like, you don't see it. You don't see it. I'm sure they eat out frequently, and it's very rare that we have a clue about it. They went chasing after a mother goose or duck or whatever. They went chasing ducks and nobody knew about it. The only thing we had was that one image of Meghan standing there looking at the ducks. I remember how people were saying, "Oh, that's so corny. She's harassing those ducks and all that kind of stuff." We didn't know that there was some kind of story that went with it. but the derangers thought she was just trying to do something cute. I'm just going to say I believe California turned out much better than anyone could have expected. I bet the Sussexes cannot believe their luck that things have turned out so much better than they could have imagined. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Doreen. That is a great point. And to show you how crazy the Left Behind Royals are, in some of those articles, I see them say British Prince Harry, British Prince Harry. Instead of laying off of them and allowing them to be an ambassador for Harry's nation of birth, they keep up all of this unnecessary gossip and rhetoric. A smart person, a smart person would leave them alone and let them do their thing and then reap the benefit of all of the positive press that comes from that. But instead, they are just dumb. They are not thinking. They are not thinking. They're using too much emotion and vengeance rather than being very practical and seeing how they could really benefit from the Sussexes, which is what they offered in the first place. We will travel and you don't have to pay us, and we will do things with the Commonwealth. And then, of course, no half in, no half out. Even though there are, some of the minor royals that are doing half in, half out. The other thing that someone mentioned is that they could better coordinate things if there is communication. If there's something so important to the Left Behind royals, they could be in a position to say, okay, it's Camilla's birthday. Hope you're not doing anything that day. And so you would have the whole day to find out that nobody give a rat's behind about Camilla. But this way, you don't really know because everybody was looking at Harry in Angola. Sussex Soldier says, hello, fellow squatties. Nice to see everyone. Well, thank you so much for being here, Sussex Soldier. And thank you so much for the super chat. Now, Sussex Soldier, are you the same Sussex Soldier from the X formerly known as Twitter? Because there's a Sussex Soldier there. Different profile picture, of course, but I was just curious. But anyway, thank you so much, and thanks for supporting Royal Sussex. Okay. I didn't know how this pettiness and spitefulness benefits the UK or the British royal family. It shows that they are for unity. It just has them digging their own grave. They are always opening the floodgates for British royal family. The way that they ordered them around, the press, the way that the press was ordered around by that WhatsApp. One thing about that leaking of that information, whoever leaked the funeral stuff, or what, not the funeral, was it the funeral or the, yeah, the funeral stuff. Whoever leaked that, not the funeral stuff itself, but the backlash that came from Buckingham Palace. If nothing else, one thing we know for certain is that they have more control over what the press is reporting than anyone realized. They have a lot of control because what that WhatsApp message said, that was like a threat. There will be consequences. I mean, it was very polite, but I'm sure they meant business. I'm sure they meant business. It was all very polite, but it was also an order. It wasn't just a request, it was an order. That's what I got from it. I believe they said it was 15 people in that WhatsApp group and that there were an extended 10 people that made it a total of 25. Is that what it said? Something like that. So there's like 25 people, the usual suspects, that WhatsApp group is serving. I think the additional people are people that are not in the UK, that are based in other places. I think that's what it is. So there's like 15 of them in the UK, and then there's an extended 10 additional people away from the UK. I have no idea who those people are, but I believe that's the way that read. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, okay. No worries. Thank you for clarifying that for me. Remember, Prince Harry said numerous times he went to them and asked mental health for Meghan. Times he asked them to call off the press and said they couldn't. Yeah, they were just wringing their hands and said they couldn't. That it's not up to them. We all go through it. Well, my darling boy, we've all been through it, my darling boy. Oh, my darling boy, we've all been through it. And Harry said very clearly, what sense does that make? Why do we have to all go through it? What is the point of that? You know, why is it just a given that we all are going to be abused by the press, that we're all going to be abused by senior royals, and we're all going to be abused by courtiers? And that one right there really doesn't make sense. They work for the family, and yet Charles took the side of the courtiers against Harry. William took the side of the courtiers against Meghan and Harry. You are taking the side. Let's just say this. Okay, let's just say this as a little exercise. Even if Meghan went in there and elbowed people throughout the day, slammed people's heads on the table, and God knows what else, that is still your brother's wife. You don't take the side of the help. They are the help. And by William siding with the help, by making the blood of the health of the help thicker than that of his own brother, now he doesn't have his brother there to help him. Now he's feeling insecure and left behind because Harry disobeyed him. Harry disobeyed him. I bet you William told him that he couldn't go. I bet he told him, you can't go. I won't let you. Bye, Felicia. William was way too comfortable with that idea that he gets to tell Harry what to do, and way too comfortable with the idea that He's going to tell Meghan what to do. He was just way too comfortable with that power. Went to his head, didn't it? Now he doesn't have either. Now he doesn't have either. Ah, okay. So that funeral info was leaked by Tobin office. So was the peace summit. Did KP infiltrate his office? Harry told Harry told in his spare, right? His father had sway. That's William with UK media. Oh, that sway influence with the UK media. They are all liars. Harry and Meghan escaped just in time. I'll say amen to that one. Happy birthday, Ingrid Sowers. Your birthday is over, isn't it? Anyway, happy belated birthday. Oh, let's see. Zakoi Farms, thank you so much for being here. Yes, everyone, please try to have a great weekend. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to share these. I can go through these really quick. If you guys are familiar with Grandma from Twitter, that is her as ever Rosé on the left side. On the right side, I forgot who that was. Let me see. I think I cropped the name out of it. But anyway, that is theirs in that box that I want desperately. And I cannot see the top of that one. Wait a minute. Who is that? Travis Warden. Yeah, that is Travis Warden's as ever. Also, there is what is that? Diving, whatever. That person and Lady Lawyer. That is hers on the right. I should have lightened these up a little bit. But look at that one in the middle. How many bottles is that? 3, 6, 9? I think they got 12 bottles there. Okay, I see 11, but I'm sure they had to have 12 of them. I think that means one bottle is gone already. Yeah, they got 11 bottles up there. Wow, that's impressive. That is impressive. Cha-ching. My goodness. Well, Christmas is coming up in 6 months. So at that rate, what is that? 2 bottles a month? Yeah, if they pace themselves at 2 bottles a month, they'll have just enough to close out the year. My goodness. Okay, and then whoever that is on the left and on the right, that's Deb. Is that Cross or whatever that is? But yeah, that's a bit small. But yeah, so that's their little spread there. Oh, you know what? They put the lines in the cookie with a fork. I think they use a fork to press those lines into it. That's what they usually do with the peanut butter cookies is you take the fork and you press the line in it so you can tell what's peanut butter and what's not. Yeah, but they got that fork line in there like peanut butter cookies. Huh, very cool. And check that out. All right. Why do I still only see 11 bottles? 3, 6, 9, 11. Are they doing this just to mess with my head? Are they doing this just to mess with my head? Shouldn't that be 12 bottles? I only see 11. Oh man, they're just messing with me. And then here on the right, this is how the boxes are when you get those boxes. Um, yeah, and by the way, I got my bottles today too. So I haven't had a chance to try it, but my bottles have arrived. Oh, I can't wait. I got to get some brie. I picture myself having some brie. Also, at Trader Joe's, they have, is it a raspberry something? You know which one I'm talking about? If you go to Trader Joe's, it's a cheese that has some kind of like dark red fruit. It's rolled up in, and you just slice it and put it on a cracker. It's a bit sweet. Um, but yeah, maybe I'll get that. Maybe. But I and some smoked Gouda. I love smoked Gouda. I love a good smoked Gouda. But yeah, I got some plans. Or go to the Trader Joe's freezer and get some of those little, what do they call those, horse d'oeuvres? Get some of those horse d'oeuvres and heat those up in the air fryer. Even though I don't usually eat stuff that's made out of horse meat, but I'm going to try some horse d'oeuvres. Um, yep, I'm going to try some of those horse d'oeuvres. Okay. Uh-oh, looks like Zakoy Farm. Wow. Happy 75th. Well, you know that means that we're going to have to salsa. You know that already. So let's get our horse d'oeuvres and our rosé. And then we'll do our salsa. Let's get our horse d'oeuvres and rosé. Let me see here. All right, here goes. All right. Happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. Or let me see here. Where is that at? There we go. Now, Zakoy Farms, you don't have to do this, but one of the ways to stay young is to do like Jennifer Lewis. That is one way to stay young and flexible and fit is to do that. Long as you're not staying at one of those hotels with the infinity pool, because sometimes Jennifer Lewis likes to go marching around the pool in the middle of the night and walk right off the edge. I don't recommend that, but that's but that's one way to to show everybody how young and fit and flexible you are. Um, but like I say, stay away from the edge though. Yep. I bet she was doing that when she marched right off that thing, getting that last kick in before she went to sleep, only to find herself being airlifted the next day. Oh well. Um oh man. Well, fortunately we can laugh about that because she's, recovered and everything, but oh boy, I tell you. What did she say? There was lions and she could hear like stuff rustling around in the darkness. That is the stuff of nightmares, ain't it? Also, remember that the As Ever Rosé sold out within 45 minutes. No matter what these people have been trying to say, it sold out in 45 minutes. Three sommeliers tried Meghan's new rosé. Here's what they thought. Now, there were three, right? And not the three that we had yesterday. It's a different three. Two of them were so shady that I'm not even going to quote them because they were being extra. Um, this is the one that I will quote. Her name is Crystal Faye Horton, and she said for $30, it's a steal. Meaning, of course, that for $30, that's not asking too much for the As Ever Rosé, $30 a bottle. So the color is a classic salmon pink. It's definitely aiming for people who want traditional Provence style rosé. The addition of Cabernet Sauvignon to the blend is so interesting to me because it's such an expensive grape. The nose is perfumed. It's not an offense, but not in an offensive way, she says. There's so much going on flavor wise in this wine. There's wild strawberries, there's cherry, there's quince, there are these sweet baking spices that you would smell when you walk into grandma's kitchen. You couldn't place it in a tasting menu, a pairing menu, or what is that? Amakasi? Is that what that is? Amakas? Whatever that is. You could match it with a broad spectrum of Asian cuisine from Thai or Indian. The citrus could cut through any fatty or spicy food. Also, she says, I have tasted a gazillion rosés, and most of them are a good starter wine to get your palate cleansed and your taste buds to stand up on your tongue. With this, there's a really pretty bright acid in it, and it's really wonderful. A lot of celebrities just slap a label on a bottle, but this really feels like somebody wanted to make this wine with intention. I have met many wonderful winemakers in California, and she has somebody who clearly knows what they're doing. So Crystal's verdict is 9.5 out of a perfect 10. So she has given Meghan a 9.5. She's hesitating to say that it is perfect, which is fine. I will take the 9.5. It's much better than those other two that were just being shady for no good reason. Anyway, this is not a porch pounder. It is a serious wine for $30. It's a steal. And Crystal Faye Horton, she's 48 years old, was the wine director at Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse in New York for 2 decades. For 20 years, she was working in New York and is a prestige brand specialist at T. Edwards Wine and Spirit. So this woman knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's talking about. You mean like hors d'oeuvres? I'm just kidding. I know it's hors d'oeuvres, but just for fun, I always say hors d'oeuvres. Let me see. The other's credibility will be hurt based on bias. Yeah, of course. They were being totally biased. I mean, I have, and by the way, this was not a blind taste test. This was not a blind taste test. Not that it matters, but I would be interested to know the nationality of those other two. But anyway, I thought that her review was very thoughtful. It was not hypercritical for the sake of it. There are just too many people that are saying that the wine is amazing, right? And with her 20-year history working in New York at a place where I'm sure they were selling steaks for like what, $100 or $200 each or whatever they sell them for, I am pretty sure she knows what she's talking about. So yeah, I'm gonna go with her. I am gonna go with her. The other two can go straight to you know where. Not even gonna bother with them with their shade. Now this guy has a thing to say. Let me just say this before I play the soundbite. What he has to say applies to most of the Western industrialized world. There's some new sheriffs in town. They call them the BRICS, which is Brazil. What's the other country? Is it Brazil, Russia, India, China, and a couple of other countries? They call it the BRICS. They are creating an alternative to the Western domination of the financial world, and they are going to trade amongst themselves so that they could break up this duopoly or monopoly or whatever it is. They're going to trade amongst themselves. They want to clip America's wings, so to speak. But the West is in trouble when it comes to the economy. But just like a mighty lion that is getting too old and unable to defend the pride, the U.S., the U.K., France, all of them are doing a whole bunch of growling. But they're paper tigers now. They're paper tigers. And the U.S., I can tell you right now, we're living off of a lot of debt. And our banker is, guess who? China. Our banker is called China. But listen to what he has to say. Again, this is not just for one country. This applies to most of the Western world. But I'll play it for you. It's only about a minute, I think.
United Kingdom used to be one of the wealthiest empires in history, but
okay, let me try that again. In case you didn't hear him, he said United Kingdom. Okay, one more time.
United Kingdom used to be one of the wealthiest empires in history, but today it's drowning in debt, unable to pay its bill, and also struggling to feed its own people. And here's why. And apart from London as well as Southeast England, the country as a whole is stagnant, struggling, as well as shrinking. And England already has sky-high taxes, and it doesn't want to raise that anymore. And it also doesn't export much compared to other countries like Japan, China, or Germany. And the sad part here is that England doesn't have much natural resources left as well, and the only thing it can do now is borrow. And in 2008, the UK borrowed more than $141 billion to bail out its banks. And over the next 15 years, England would have no real growth, investment, or stimulus. and many economists call this the lost decade. And disaster after disaster also piled onto the country. Brexit cut foreign investments by 25%, and COVID added another $300 billion in debt. And we also can't forget about the Ukraine war, energy shortage, as well as another $100 billion in borrowing for emergencies. And as a result, the UK has to pay roughly $100 billion every single year just on the interest for its loans. And this also means less funding for healthcare, schools, as well as infrastructure. And you can say that the UK doesn't really produce anything anymore. Instead, it's simply borrowing. And as a result, the country is slowly dying. The United Kingdom used to be one of the wealthiest empires in history, but
there's a lot of issues in the Western world. The United States is heavily in debt. Now, we do still have a lot of resources, a lot. It's a big country. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of places where there are untapped resources. And yes, believe it or not, there's still oil that is being drilled here in the United States. I believe they don't do more of it because they probably keep that as like a strategic oil reserve. But the same is true all over. The thing is, I want to make this point. While they are distracting us with boat people in the UK or people crossing the border in the southern United States, while they're trying to put tariffs on countries that we owe money to. That's what's so weird, is that we're trying to put all these tariffs on China, and China is our banker. China literally owns so much debt in this country. They are holding debt for us, or we are in debt to them, or whatever. It's amazing the distractions that we have when the real issues are being ignored. And in the UK, you would think that they would focus more on these other things instead of Harry and Meghan. This is the stuff that they want to talk about. That should be the 24-hour news right there, is what are we going to do? The person who posted that said, the UK press and the royal family distract the public with constant stories about Prince Harry and Princess Meghan to keep them ignorant. No wonder they want Harry back. This is why the Republican movement is growing, and the royal family's days are numbered. I love karma, heart, heart. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be this way. It really does not have to be this way. I am sickened by what's happening with immigration in this country. There are people about to make a lot of money off of this fear of others. The truth is, the birth rate in the UK is down so small. I don't know who's going to pay the pensions for people in the future. And in the US, the birth rate is not as low, but it's still pretty low. The truth is, we need people. We do. Most of the Western world needs people. But the thing is, they only want white people. They do not want black or brown people coming to live. They would rather they do the work and go home. That's what they really want. But you don't get to choose when you have been a huge empire that has literally brought people from other places, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, whether it was the Windrush or the hull of a slave ship. You don't get to choose. And as the kid says, they're delusional. They're making people ignorant. They're lying to us. And unfortunately, one of the ways that they do that is using the Sussexes, among other people. among other people. I mean, it just does not deserve the attention that they're giving them. How can everything under the sun have started with them? When the truth is, housing is one of the biggest issues we have right now. Everywhere, there's not enough housing. It's not that it's too many people, they just won't build it. They just will not build it. They choose not to build decent, affordable housing. They'd rather build stuff that no one can afford. They'll rather leave those places empty. You know how many empty units of housing there is in Manhattan? Thousands, if not tens of thousands, thousands of them. All over Manhattan, all over London. Makes absolutely no sense. But all we could think about is, where does Meghan's wine come from? Where does Meghan's preserve come from? How is Harry going to afford to live in Montecito? These are the really important questions of the day. Distract, distract, distract. Heard on one of Roland Martin's sites that by the end of the year, to buy veggies, fruits, you will not be able to buy because they will not be any. The ice is making Mexicans, Asians, taking Mexicans and Asians off farms. Yeah, the farmers have been screaming out for help. They've been screaming out for help. You know what? I think maybe the head of state should go on television or make a statement or something saying that it's everybody's patriotic duty to go and help pick the produce off of those farm fields. Oh, wait a minute. King Charles tried that, didn't he? And what was the answer? Well, you meet me there first. Ain't that what people were saying? I'm right behind you, Charles. Yeah, maybe we should have the president of the United States tell us it's our patriotic duty to go out there. And of course, you know that ain't gonna go over big with black folks. You know that ain't gonna go over big. Uh, not coming from him, it won't. Um, but yeah, that was tried, wasn't it? But I could believe it. I could believe it. The storm is coming. We're not there yet, but the storm is coming. They're gonna probably import a lot of stuff that could be grown right here. They're going to have to import it. They're going to have to import it. Oh, well. But yeah, you guys, what this kid was saying, it really applies to most of the Western world. There's so much tribalism, and they're making people look the other way. And they're not fixing the things that need to be fixed. The problems are not so great. You just have to want to fix it. Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. Okay. Coldplay concert kiss cam catches alleged tech office affair on screen. Have you guys seen this? Have you seen this? Trying to catch a cheating spouse, hire the private detective firm of Chris Martin and Coldplay. They'll do the rest. Oh my God, that was funny. That was so funny. These two right here, I believe that there is a marriage that is about to fall apart. There is a marriage that is in jeopardy because of this viral moment. This viral moment. Let's see here. It says a viral video from a Coldplay concert in Boston has turned into a public relations mess for tech company Astronomer after the stadium kiss cam caught CEO Andy Byron and Chief People Officer, oh, she is a people person, isn't she? Kristen Cabot in a moment of awkward intimacy. The incident, recorded at Gillette Stadium on July the 16th, sparked a wave of speculations after frontman Chris Martin jokingly told the crowd they're either having an affair or just very shy. Yeah. Well, he called it, didn't he? Let me see. Eva Berglund, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Wow, a super sticker and a member of Royal Sussex. Thank you very much. Are you serious? Get it? Human resources. Are you serious? I tell you, I don't know who comes up with some of these, but that one is kind of clever. Let me see here. Within hours, social media sleuths began naming the pair based on LinkedIn photos and company bios. The moment quickly became the subject of viral TikToks and trending X threads, with users suggesting the video exposed more than just an uncomfortable moment. It may have revealed a workplace relationship between two married executives. Social media users linked astronomer leader to the viral video. The clip shows two concert goers looking stunned. And look at some of the memes that have been floating around. Remember the famous painting Scream? Well, there's a Scream for you. The clip shows two concert goers looking stunned when the camera pans to them during a kiss cam segment. They don't kiss. Instead, the woman, now widely identified online as Kristen Cabot, ducks her head as the man beside her throws his hands in the air and laughs. Fans in the stadium cheer, but it's what happened online afterwards that drew serious attention. Okay, wait, here's another one. How about this one from The Office, I think? Picture of the astronomer CEO and head of HR at the weekly staff meeting. Oh man, people are having too much fun with this. Check out this one. I don't know who this character is. I'm sure she's some kind of anime or something, but they've even thrown cartoon character into it. And how about this one? A couple of, I think this is a sports station or something. What is it, South Carolina? Anyway, the two guys working at ESPN, oh yeah, ESPN, they decided to have their moment. And then, of course, they ducked away and one put his hands on his face. And, oh, it's a million of them out there, you guys. If you're on social media, I'm pretty sure you've seen something by now. Or how about this one? The mascot at the Phillies game, you can see the mascots there on the left are standing in that same pose. And then suddenly they become very shy. One puts their hands up to her face, the other one ducks away. And of course, eventually running to get away from the situation. So again, people are having a lot of fun with this. TikTok commentators quickly claimed the couple bore a striking resemblance to astronomers' top brass. Posts pointed to Andy Byron, the CEO, and Kristen Cabot, who joined the company in late 2024 as Chief People Officer. Cabot's role includes overseeing company culture, ethics, and internal complaints. Well, HR. Adding fuel to the fire, commentators noted the presence of another woman in the frame, allegedly Alyssa Stoddard, a senior director of people who recently promoted by Cabot. Her visible discomfort in the video drew further criticism, especially as users claim she only joined the company earlier this year. Online backlash highlights corporate ethics concerns. The reactions have been swift and sharp. Some commentators expressed outrage that top executives responsible for human resources and company integrity might be entangled in a personal relationship. That's going to be one awkward board meeting, if not a couple divorces, too. One TikTok user wrote, other questions whether favoritism played a role in internal promotion. Speculation mounted after user linked the timing of the recent leadership shakeup to the individuals seen in the video. Narrative gained further traction after Pop Crave shared the footage to his millions of followers, amplifying both the scandal and the backlash. Executives at the data driven enterprise company are trending for all the wrong reasons, prompting many to question how astronomer handles ethical leadership despite the absence of official statements. Wow. Let's see, are there any others? Oh, there's The Simpsons. Wow, even The Simpsons are getting in on it, right? Are those like the neighbors of The Simpsons? I see not Bart, but the dad right there. Wow, that's a hot mess, ain't it? That is a hot mess. And then here you have, I guess that's Barbie. That's probably some kind of AI thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's some kind of AI thing. Further fueling speculation about the fallout, astronomer CEO Andy Byron's wife appears to have quietly dropped his last name from her Facebook profile. Screenshots shared across social media show the surname Byron removed, while her friend count and profile photos remain unchanged. The move came shortly after the video went viral and adds to growing sign that Coldplay Kiss Cam moment had consequences beyond corporate embarrassment. A private moment became a corporate crisis. Coldplay may have meant to deliver a lighthearted crowd moment, but the viral Kiss Cam clip has now put astronomer under a microscope. The public nature of the footage, combined with the role of those involved, has raised hard questions about power dynamics, professional conduct, and the blurred line between private lives and public leadership. Strangers on social media are dissecting astronomers' internal culture in real time, with the video drawing hundreds of thousands of views and thousands of comments. Or a company built on trust and technology, silence may no longer be an option. Thank you, Feminagra. Oh, by the way, that's the rest of it. So you have this and this. See it? This and this. I tell you, they have great hair, don't they? That's their LinkedIn profiles. And right there, Meg Kerrigan, I believe that is his wife, maybe? Or is that the other lady in the photo? Maybe that's the other lady in the photo. Oh, look at this couple. Have you guys ever seen? Oh, that's the Bratz. Thank you, Legs. Have you guys ever seen this couple? I don't know where I know them from, but they look familiar. Isn't that something? They seem shocked. And then first he ducks away and then she ducks away. That is so awkward. I just feel like I've seen them before. Well, I tell you what, from the looks of these two, I bet they weren't getting along anyway. I'm telling you, social media is having so much fun with this right now. And they're next. I think they're going to be next. If I had to guess which couple is going to be the next that are caught on the kiss cam, I'm going to guess these two right here. No way they're not next. No way they're not going to be the next ones. You watch and see. They are going to be the next ones that are caught out on the kiss cam, even if they're not kissing. And of course, the last time, or should I say, one of the earliest times that there was a viral moment like this, you may remember it was in Casablanca, right? Well, sweetheart, we'll always have Coldplay. Yeah, sweetheart, we'll always have Coldplay. That is the worst Humphrey Bogart impersonation. Yeah, look here, sweetheart, we'll always have. I think when you do Humphrey Bogart, you have to keep your teeth together. You can't like talk with your teeth apart. Yeah, see, we'll always have Coldplay. Yeah, that's terrible. That is terrible. That is the worst Humphrey Bogart ever. You guys, this is so bad and it's so awkward. It's like dark humor, if you ask me. This is really, really dark humor. What an awkward moment to look into the camera. What a very, I know you guys. Yeah, I know this is terrible. That is a very awkward moment. What do you think? Do you think he knows what's coming next? I mean, obviously, this is an invitation to dinner, but does he know that he's on the menu? I know, I know, I know. This is the most awkward invitation to dinner that I've seen in 2025. Yes, that haunting look into the camera. I know, I know. Let me move this. Netflix. Netflix. How did the as ever, no, with love, how did with love Meghan stack up? Well, before we get into that, let's just remember that there has been thousands of shows on Netflix, right? Thousands of them. It says right here, out of the 7,514 shows that Netflix has offered so far in 2025. Now, this is just for the first 6 months of the year. There has been 7,514 shows that Netflix has offered so far in 2025. With Love, Meghan at 389. So you see, when you put that in perspective, it's really not so bad, is it? 389 out of 7,514 since the start of the year. So 389 is in the top 5% of all shows for a niche lifestyle show. That's impressive. And despite being 3-year-old Harry and Meghan, the documentary, 1,770 is in the top 25. So the documentary even though it's 3 years old, is still in the top 25. There are still people watching the documentary. After 3 years, for 2025, the Harry and Meghan documentary is still in the top 25%. Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex thrive. So thank you to the squatty who posted this. This has been very helpful because I'm pretty sure there are some people that are feeling a bit, indifferent about the information that came out today about where With Love has landed in the big scheme of things. So do take a screenshot of that so that you'll have that information for yourself, that out of 7,514 shows for the calendar year of 2025, with only 6 months of the year gone by, With Love Meghan has ranked 389, which puts it in the top 5%, which I say puts it in perspective. You know what? You said that at just the right time. Yes, it does include Suits. It's not a spin, it's fact and math. It's in the top 5% in all the shows you've shared. There's no niche reality show, given the number of people who joined Netflix, me included, because of Meghan. It was more successful than most, as other people watched as they already had Netflix. Netflix spent, I think so, well, a little grammatical error there. And it doesn't matter what you say, they've gotten a great return for their money. Production costs and paying actors in series cost a lot more, and hardly people subscribe for a series. A lot of people subscribed, me included, do for, now, I don't know what that means. Oh, With Love Meghan. Okay, that's what it means, With Love Meghan. Yeah, so a lot of people subscribe for With Love Meghan. And there you have it. So again, we just want to keep these things in perspective. So With Love Meghan ranked 383 out of approximately 7,000 shows in Netflix first half of 2025 engagement report. This places it in the top 5.5% of all ranked shows by viewership. Now that's from Grok, which is AI. It doesn't have any perceived bias, although it kind of does, but I'm pretty sure that that bias wouldn't necessarily be in the Sussexes' favor unless it were true, right? Unless it, made sense. And the numbers do not lie. So as Connie Balmer was saying, that is includes what is it? I think Suits did a little greater or a little less than. No, I think Suits did greater than With Love Meghan. I think it did a little greater than With Love Meghan. But yeah, Suits was still up there. Suits was still up there. There's still a lot of people watching Suits. Out of the show that Netflix has offered so far. Oh, I did that already, didn't I? Yeah, that's the same thing. I think I just put it twice. Never mind. Now, Meghan Markle Netflix show is not pointless. It's actually joyful AF. And we all know what AF means, as Frappuccino, right? But that was back in March of 2025 that someone had reviewed the show. And right here, you can see With Love Meghan. They've also produced Polo. Meghan had Archetypes. The Heart of Invictus is a Archwell production. Harry and Meghan, Archwell production. Live to Lead, The Me You Can't See, which is, I believe, on Apple. That was produced by executive producers Oprah Winfrey and Prince Harry. Yes, executive producer. And of course, Meghan, also executive producer. And of course, Suits. There it is, Suits again. So um, the Sussexes have been very busy in spite of what people believe. Also, they have plenty, and I do mean plenty money, in spite of what they're trying to say in the tabloids lately. They are sitting up here trying to count the Sussex money. I don't think they're doing an accurate job of it. And of course, it's none of their business. And of course, Ted Sarandos. Meghan is underestimated in terms of her influence on culture. When we dropped the trailer for Harry and Meghan docuseries, everything on screen was dissected and the press in the press for days. Shoes she was wearing sold out all over the world. Hermes blankets that was on the chair behind her sold out everywhere in the world. People are fascinated with Meghan Markle. She and Harry are overly dismissed. So that's Ted Sarandos. Despite tabloid claims, Netflix CEO, co-CEO called Meghan Markle a smart investment for the streaming platform. So there you go. You heard it from Ted Sarandos. The documentary we did on them is still one of the most watched documentaries of all time on Netflix, and huge, particularly in the UK, where people just devour everything about them. You may love them or hate them, but you're watching. So, and you see there on the right, Harry and Meghan breaks Netflix records with 81.5 million hours watched. Now, I don't know what that number is today, but that's what it was when I saved that slide right there. Now, I think this is the last thing I have for today. Nope, I got two more. I got a couple more after this. How did Kate Middleton's last Christmas Carol show rank in viewership? Kate Middleton's Together at Christmas Carol service aired on ITV1 and ITVX in December 2024. Drew 2.44 million viewers. It ranked 42nd out of the top 100 TV programs for that period, a drop from 2.93 million viewers in 2023, when it also ranked 42nd out of 50 programs. The show struggled to compete with other mainstream programs, continuing a trend of modest viewership despite its royal association. In other words, it was okay. It was okay. A big fat nothing burger. 42nd out of, for that period, it's okay, but it is trending downward. It is trending downward. I would be remiss if I didn't point that out. White people are telling a black woman discussing her lived experience of racism that she is the real racist. That's where we are now. Yes, that's where we are now. We see that happen every day. Every day. If it isn't Diane Abbott, it is likely, actually more likely, to be Meghan. How many times have we seen a bunch of white people sitting around the studio dismissing any claims of racism against not only the institution, but also against the tabloid media? They're in denial about it. No matter how many dog whistles, no matter how many cleverly worded headlines, all of which are quite likely brewing racism, they would rather you accept being gaslighted and believe them when they tell you that there is no racism. There's only anti-Americanism, right? And that's what Camilla Tominley said. Oh, I didn't see any racism. Why would I accept that from Camilla Tominley? Why would I accept her word that she didn't see any racism against the Sussexes? Why would we believe her? The woman who wrote that terrible thing about the Hub Kitchen, the woman who pointed out how many Black people were on the cover of the Vogue magazine in comparison to white people. Yeah, the day should come that I would listen to her. So, yeah, that's where we are now. And lastly, a word of the day from Zandy Sussex, or a quote of the week. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And that, of course, is from one of the wisest doctors in the world, Dr. Seuss. Remember that. Those who matter don't, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all so much for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this the safe space that it has been for a long time. And thank you all for your comments, your likes, and your shares. Don't forget, if you need to get a handle on some of the things that we have discussed and you just quite don't know how to fit these things into the timeline, there is a link at the top of the chat. You go to that channel and devour it. I promise you, those videos are very well made. They're in chronological order. I use them as a resource myself, and we are lucky to have them. Okay? All right. Love you guys. See you next time.